What's up, Tan and J-Man Show Nation? This is Tanner Lee, one half of the Tan and J-Man Show. And on behalf of myself and my co-host, Josh the J-Man Munt, we want to thank you for listening to our podcast. While you're at it, on whatever platform you're listening on, please hit that subscribe button. And if it happens to be on Apple Podcasts, please give us a rating and review. That really helps us out. If you're interested in watching our show is recorded live every Monday from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch that on the ISC Sports Network, on the free ISC Sports Network app, on the ISC Sports Network Facebook page, and their Twitter page. While you're at it, on those social media channels, please give us a like on our Facebook page. Please give us a follow on our Twitter and Instagram page at Tan and J-Man Show. And if you want to support our podcast and look great doing so, we have a merchandise store. You can go to any of our social media pages, click the link, click Tan and J-Man Show store, and you'll find whatever you're looking for. Short sleeve t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, coffee mugs, you name it, we got it. So thanks again for supporting the podcast. Now sit back, relax, and here comes another exciting brand new episode of the Tan and J-Man Show.
We're back at it with another episode of the Tan and J-Man Show live on the ISC Sports Network. It's a scorcher tonight, but we're going to make it even hotter with our takes.
Good intro. That's one of your better ones you've ever done.
Thank you. Right off the top of my head. Stream of consciousness.
You weren't thinking about that all day, are you sure?
Positive. I don't have enough time in the day to think about everything. Just kidding. I have nothing going on. How you doing tonight there, T-Dog?
I'm doing good, J-Man. Like you said, we have a lot to talk about. It's
going to be a packed one.
Jam-packed episode. We have some conference realignment to talk about. Have some name changes around sports going on, or well, just MLB, I guess. Got some MLB to talk about, the trade deadline coming up. We got new NBA champions, small market team, giving all the small market fans some hope, and some Olympics going on. So
yeah, how much of the Olympics have you watched?
I watched a little bit yesterday. I watched some of the triathlon. That was pretty good stuff.
What would be your best out of the triathlon?
Well, the swimming's the shortest distance, but
I'm more of a float kind of guy when I'm swimming.
I'm out of shape as it is, but I would have to say it'd be running would be my best.
Really? Even more so than biking?
The biking's like 26 miles.
Pass. Hard pass. How much is the running?
It's like 7 or 8, I believe.
I'd die either way.
And the swimming's darn near a mile.
I'd drown. I'm dead. I'm dead either way.
But you start with the swim, so you get wet. Then you're on the bike.
See, that'd be the worst part.
Wet. Then you run.
Swimming would be the one that I'd want to go last, just because you're hot and sweaty.
If you cramp up.
That's a good point. You probably need to go first.
Either way, J-Man, we're not going to be triathletes. I don't think anytime soon.
No, I think our athletic days are over.
Yeah. The guy that won, though, he won by a lot. I don't remember what country Norway, I believe. Norway. I think it was from Norway.
It's a Norwegian.
He was 27. He looked like he was 40.
Did he have my hairline?
Yes.
No. Saying I look like 40?
No. No, you got the maturity of a 12-year-old, so.
That's a good point. Good point. Got some birdie bogey for me.
I do have some birdie bogey. Let me bring up the sponsor for everybody right here. All right. The guy we talk about quite often on
Ted
the
Williams.
J-Man Show. No, but good guess. Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, he's pretty good.
He had his 25th home run yesterday. He became the 4th player born outside of the United States to hit 35 homers before the end of July in MLB history.
35.
Can you name the other 3 guys?
Before the end of July,
born outside of the U.S.
I know one comes to mind pretty easily.
Save it for the end.
I am going to, but I know one for sure. Might know 2 for sure. I think I have a decent chance to get 2 out of 3.
That'll give you a par.
Yep. Birdie Bogey is brought to you by Noble Gnome LLC for fresh, locally grown, nutrient-dense produce from Bryce and Katie Romine of Manitou, Indiana. Like them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, and check out their website, noblegnomellc.com. It is their favorite time of year, and one of our favorite times of year, sweet corn.
Sweet corn season.
They are set up tomorrow, July 27th, in Mentone, Indiana, by the fire station at 12:30. Come and get some delicious corn. You can also have your veggies delivered right to your home. Let me go find that real quick.
Market Fresh?
Market Wagon.
Market
Close.
Wagon.
Close.
Not even close.
You got the market part right. You can have them delivered right to your home. Go to their website, marketwagon.com, and get them delivered to your door. See their site for more details. And be sure to search for Noble Gnome just Noble Gnome in their search bar to find all available produce. So get some corn.
Get some corn.
Gosh, I like corn so much.
Yeah, that makes me excited. I was...
In any way it's made. It could be in a casserole.
Yeah, corn casserole's good stuff.
Oh, cheesy corn casserole's good. Elote, Mexican street corn, is what it's known as. So that's delicious stuff. Right off the cob.
Yep.
Off the cob, like even
you just
shave it off the cob.
You're gonna say chop it off.
I was gonna say chop it off the cob.
Yeah. Off them that cob there.
we like corn.
Yes,
clearly.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. But what are we starting with tonight, J-Man?
Let's start baseball. How about that?
Roll with it.
Major League Baseball trade deadline is on Friday, July 30th, because they didn't want to work a weekend in Major League Baseball.
They deserve weekends off.
I don't blame them. I don't like working weekends. I've never worked a weekend. Don't plan on it either. but the trade deadline is Friday. I have a little bit of a preview here, kind of separating the buyers and the sellers. It's pretty cut and dry, I would say, this year. There's only maybe a handful of teams that would be like right on the line or so. But the for sure buyers are the Boston Red Sox in the American League East. They are in search of, really, they need a left-handed hitting, probably first baseman. Which a guy who's been mentioned a bunch to the Boston Red Sox could be Anthony Rizzo, which would make me very sad.
Man, make me sad too. I only like the Cubs.
but they have really struggled at the first base spot this year. I mean, they haven't got much production whatsoever out of it. Their best guy, I'm going to go look it up right now, he's hitting like 214 or something like that. Their main first baseman, Bobby Dalbac's hitting 218. He has 10 homers. He's struck out 104 times and only walked 12 times. So they're not
pretty good.
Not getting a whole lot of production. They have a few left-handed bats. Rafael Devers, Alex Verdugo are their left-handed bats, but they could use another left-handed stick. Plus, it helps that Anthony Rizzo is an elite defensive first baseman, 4-time Gold Glover there as well. But they're in search of some left-handed bats. Their pitching's actually been pretty good. I should preface this by saying every single team that's a buyer is in need of starting pitching depth and bullpen depth.
Absolutely.
Especially the Red Sox. Their starting rotation has not been good outside of Nate Eovaldi. However, they could be getting a guy who'd probably be the best pitcher on the market coming back. August 14th, they're slating Chris Sale's debut back.
Don't you speak that into existence?
It's already been said.
I know.
Chris Sale back August 14th. That'll be an acquisition in itself. They have the best record in the American League.
No, I'm aware.
They're tied with the Houston Astros for the best record
Cheaters.
In the American League. Yeah, cheaters. Definitely. But they're obviously a buyer. The Tampa Bay Rays are 20 games over 500, only a game out of the American League East. They're 1,000% buyers, and they've already started buying, trading for Nelson Cruz, the ageless wonder, 41 years old. Great fit at designated hitter spot. As I said, 41 years old, and he's still mashing baseball, especially left-handed hitter or left-handed pitching. He's mashing. They could be in need of maybe a middle infielder as well. They've haven't gotten much production out of their shortstop position this year. Wander Franco was supposed to be that guy, 20 years old, top prospect in baseball, but he's kind of struggled early on, which is to be expected when he first came up, and so they could be in search of that. They kind of made a surprise move because they are also in need of starting pitching. They traded one of their starters who'd been pretty good, and Rich Hill, to the New York Mets, who had been in search of starting pitching. So that was kind of a surprise as the ERA is under 4. It was probably a money deal to be able to acquire Nelson Cruz. And it's getting to the point with the Tampa Bay Rays where you don't question a single thing they do because they're arguably the best run organization in baseball year in and year out. So they're an interesting team to watch at the deadline. They have a really good farm system. A team that I think will be buyers is the New York Yankees. They are 9 games out of first place in the American League East, so they're probably done for the division. But they're only 3.5 out in the wild card, which makes me think that they will be buyers. This could honestly be a huge week for them, though. They lose a few games, find themselves 5.5, 6 games out by Friday. They might end up selling. If they were to buy, they really need some outfield help. Their center fielders have been atrocious this year. And they need offense. They need pitching. They traded for a reliever today, a reliever who'd been 22% below league average, Clay Holmes from the Pirates, and the Yankees gave up 2 decent prospects for him, which was kind of shocking, and hopefully that sets the market, the going rate, which will help.
Good job, Brian.
Which will help the Cubs out quite a bit with all their bullpen depth, trading from that.
Cashman.
But Yankees, I think, will... This whole year, I've kind of been waiting for it to click. They've had injuries. Seems like they have injuries every single year.
Yes.
Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton always get injured.
Always.
It seems like.
Always. All their outfielders.
Pitching hasn't been great either, so they could be, as I said, every team.
Relief stinks.
Bullpen depth, top of the bullpen.
They're just not very
arms.
good, Josh.
They're really not, but I wouldn't be surprised if they end up winning that wild card.
Yeah. I still don't know if that saved Boone's job, but he needs something.
Sure. I mean, they've how long has he been there now? 5 years?
That sounds right. This is 4th or 5th
like
year.
That, 4th or 5th year. And, it might be time for a change, even if it's not much of a philosophical
Stop going the
change.
ex-Yankee player route.
Yeah, Girardi to – did it go Girardi to Boone? Straight to Boone?
Torrey to Girardi to Boone.
Let's see who else could be. Tino Martinez, will he be back? Paul O'Neill.
He's one of their commentators.
Alex Rodriguez.
No.
That'd be a nightmare.
Jeter.
Jeter has a stake in the Marlins, so I don't know if he'd...
A-Rod tried to get a stake in the Mets, but...
Yeah, he did.
Didn't work out.
Luckily for the Mets, that didn't work out.
Hideki Matsui, there we go. He was...
There you go.
He walked out one of the athletes in Japan during the Olympics.
Really? That's pretty cool. Yep. What athlete do you know?
One of the old legend athletes.
Oh,
yeah.
Gotcha. That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
The Toronto Blue Jays, it seems like every team in the American League East, it will be a buyer except the Baltimore Orioles, who are 34-64.
They're awful. Them and the Diamondbacks, man. Woo.
Blue Jays have one of the best offenses in the game. They don't need to do a whole lot with that, but their starting pitching has been good. Bullpen's been atrocious. If they want to get back into it, they're only 9.5 out the division, 4 out in the wild cards. They're still in it as far as wild card goes, but they need to get hot quick. There's only 2 months left. They need help bullpen-wise. The White Sox are the only team in the American League Central that's going to be a buyer. They are running away with the division. 9 games up on the Cleveland Indians. Did you know the Detroit Tigers are the hottest team in baseball?
I couldn't have told you that.
They're only 7 games under 500 now. Still not good, but they, I think, had an 11-game win streak, something like that. I saw somebody put big money on them to come back and win the division, which is not going to happen because they will be sellers. But White Sox getting an acquisition in itself. Eloy Jimenez has been activated today, so he'll be back. That'll help their offense. Luis Robert is another guy that should be coming back here in the next few weeks, I believe. They probably are in need of maybe a second baseman. Nick Madrigal's been out, and I think he's out for the year. So they've been mentioned as a team that could potentially trade with the Colorado Rockies and Trevor Story. But White Sox need bullpen help. The rotation's good. I mean, Lance Lynn's one of the best starters in the game. Carlos Rodon's been awesome. Lucas Giolito's been good. Dallas Keuchel gives you innings. They don't need a whole lot starting pitching-wise, but bullpen especially. Could look across town with the Chicago Cubs. Cubs have a litany of bullpen arms that will be available, I should say. Andrew Chafin, Ryan Tepera, Dan Winkler, even a guy like Rex Brothers could be a kind of pitcher the White Sox need to solidify their bullpen. The Houston Astros are also a team that the cheaters are having a really good year that no one's even really talking about because they're cheaters. Mm-hmm. They're 5.5 games up in the West, tied for the best record in the American League with the Red Sox. Best offense in the sport. Really good starting pitching as well with a bunch of really no-name guys outside of Zach Greinke and Lance McCullers. Bullpen's pretty solid as well, but they could use bullpen depth. That's good, everyone. I'm going to continue to harp on that. And then the other team, the Oakland Athletics, are probably – they're not the last buyer in the American League because did you know the Seattle Mariners are only 1.5 games out?
I didn't know they were that close.
Of the wild card.
We talked about them last week that they were still in it.
They've played really well, and they've stayed in it. I don't know how long. Their run differential suggests that they won't be in it for long, but hey, run differential isn't the end-all to all of this. They could very easily get a playoff spot for the first time in, 20 years? 2001?
2001, yeah.
The Oakland A's, though, need a shortstop. Elvis Andrus has been abysmal this year at short. Their pitching's really good, as it has been for years, but they need a middle infielder. Mariners, as I said, they're definitely, I have them here as on the fence, whether it could go either way, but I think they're for sure buyers, especially after reading last night that they're going to make a hard push for Whit Merrifield of the Kansas City Royals. Center fielder, can play second base, and they need offensive help. Jared Kelenic, who's one of the best prospects in baseball, who's only 21 years old, he has come up and he's really, really struggled, striking out almost 60% of his plate appearances so far. He's not ready, clearly, and hopefully this doesn't kill his confidence because he's going to be an absolute superstar if it doesn't. Mike Trout, though, remember, he really struggled his first year up at about 20 years old, and then he's turned into one of the greatest players
Phenom.
ever. Mariners could also use starting pitching and bullpen. As far as the National League goes, the Mets are winning the American League or National League East, 4 games up on the Phillies.
This is the worst.
Mets.
I think I dislike the Mets more than I do the Red Sox.
I cannot stand the New York Mets.
Just something about their colors in their face.
Cannot stand the New York Mets.
Yeah.
I hate Pete Alonso. Something about Pete Alonso I cannot stand. Really like Jacob deGrom. Seems like a good dude.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. But
he's hurt right now, though.
Yeah,
which means they could be in the market for another starting pitcher, even though they traded for Rich Hill. They've been mentioned as a team that needs offensive help. Francisco Lindor is hurt right now, and their offense has not been good.
I'm already convinced Bryant's going there.
Chris Bryant,
I put that in my ear for 3 weeks.
Yeah, Chris Bryant that's like the team mentioned most with Chris Bryant. In fact, I have Chris Bryant trade odds right now. The Mets have the best trade odds at 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah, the Oakland Athletics are 3-1. Hadn't even heard them, but it helps so much that Chris Bryant can play all over the diamond. Yeah. All 3 outfield spots, third, first.
Could even DH him if you need to.
Exactly.
For some reason.
He'd be great. But he's really good defensively. But I mean, be huge to be able to get him kind of a day off by DHing him. The A's 3-1. The Milwaukee Brewers 4-1.
That would suck for the Cubs.
That would be.
They won't do that.
The most shocking thing ever.
They wouldn't trade him within the division.
They might. The only reason
to get a big haul.
Well, the only reason why they might do it to get a big haul from a division rival. And he's a free agent at the end of the year. And the likelihood he signs with the Milwaukee Brewers is very, very small in the offseason. So that's the only reason I still would have a hard time believing it. Boston Red Sox have the 4th highest odds. Atlanta Braves, Seattle Mariners, Yankees, 8-1.
I don't see that happening.
Dodgers, 12-1. The only team we've really heard are the Mets. I've even heard the Giants, though, and they don't even have odds on here. So I think
maybe the White Sox might kick the tires.
I can't imagine that would happen.
Yeah.
Just too big of a name, swapping city or swapping places in the city. But Mets need offense. They've been mentioned as Javier Baez as well, especially with Francisco Lindor being out. The Atlanta Braves, they are still somehow in it, and they are really helped out by playing in the division they do. They are only 5 games behind the New York Mets. All season, we've been waiting for the Braves to get hot, get back in it. They haven't done it. Their best player, Ronald Acuna Jr., is out for the season. They've already started trading for outfielders, which they need outfield help to trade for Jock Peterson. He's probably not a guy that's going to move the needle a whole lot, but they need offense, especially catching position as well has been really bad for them, especially since Travis d'Arnaud has been on the injured list pretty much majority of the season. They need starting pitching, though. They need bullpen. They need a lot of stuff to go right for them to get back in it, and I don't know if it's going to happen. Philadelphia Phillies are only 4 games out. They're still in it at 500, 49-49. They are a team that if you are a seller, you want them to be buyers because their general manager, I think he might be president of baseball ops, Dave Dombrowski, former Tigers front office guy, former Boston Red Sox front office guy. He's the one that built the Tigers up to be World Series contenders. He won a World Series with the Red Sox, I believe, in 2000. He might not have. I don't remember. But he is a guy that could not care less about his farm system. He will trade the top guys for rentals, and so that is absolutely huge for a team like the Cubs, because the Cubs by far, I would say this week, are the most interesting seller. They have so many pieces to sell. They will be the talk of the week in baseball, and the Phillies are a team that needs bullpen help. They could be one of the top teams that go after a guy like Craig Kimbrell.
Any predictions for the Cubs from now until next Monday?
I'm going to go Chris Bryant to the Reds or to the Mets. Craig Kimbrell, I think, will go to the Padres. That's kind of, they need bullpen help. Padres need starting pitching as well. They could package a Craig Kimbrell and Zach Davies to the Padres. Padres have already started to make trades. They've traded for MLB hits leader right now, Adam Frazier from the Pittsburgh Pirates. He'll play second base for him. Really good offensive second baseman. The chatter's getting more deafening on Anthony Rizzo potentially being traded, so I'll say he ends up with the Red Sox.
So you do think he'll be gone from a week from now?
I would say it's 20 to 30%,
okay.
But if I had a prediction right now, I think they probably end up trading him. And if they want him back, you probably keep him because John Lester has said it, and I've said this on the show before. The moment he knew he could play somewhere else is when he was traded to the Oakland A's because he could never envision himself playing anywhere else except Boston. But the moment he was traded to the Oakland A's and spent the rest of the year there, it was the first time he thought about playing somewhere else, and that made his decision a lot easier to go to the Cubs. So it could be the same situation for a guy like Javi if you want him back, or Bryant or Rizzo. So if they want Rizzo back, they don't trade him, or it'd be increasingly unlikely that he'd be back next year. I would say Andrew Chafin goes to the White Sox, Ryan Tepera goes to the Phillies, Zach Davies, as I said, he'll definitely be traded. Trevor Williams could be another guy. One guy that I think is very safe is Kyle Hendricks. He's kind of been their leader there.
How about Wilson Contreras?
Wilson Contreras would net a huge haul. However, they literally have no one else to catch this year.
I hadn't heard his name pop up. So.
No, he'd be a guy that'd be a hot commodity. He's leading National League catchers and homers. His defense has gotten far better, pitch framing and all of that.
Nobody's going to take on Hayward's contract.
Unfortunately, because Hayward's not hitting, no one's going to want to take on his contract. That'd be huge, though, if somebody did, but I can't imagine a scenario. He's having a hard time starting games on a bad Cubs team. He's not going to do that.
That's a good point.
And he's not going to come off the bench making $26 million this year, whatever he is. Brewers, clear buyer. They need offense, though. Center field, Jackie Bradley Jr. has been terrible for him. Lorenzo Cain's been hurt. First base, Keston Harra's been terrible for him, so they could be in the market for a first baseman, center fielder, even third base as well. They have probably the best starting pitching duo in the game of baseball, Brandon Woodruff and Corbin Burns. Then a great bullpen in Josh Hader, Devin Williams, a couple other guys back there. So their pitching's pretty dang good, but they could use some offense. San Francisco Giants have the best record in baseball still. They are the most rock-solid team in Major League Baseball. You look at all their stats, and you're like, who do they need? Which is shocking because no one thought they'd be any good.
No, I didn't see that coming.
Bullpen, as I said, with every team. Starting pitching could use depth. They could use a bat. Evan Longoria has been hurt for a little while. Chris Bryant could be a guy who goes there. I don't know if Longoria is back or not. He might be. But Giants are a buyer. Dodgers need starting pitching depth. Kershaw's hurt right now. Trevor Bauer, I can't imagine he'll be back. He might not pitch ever again. I know it came out today that there's a large majority of Dodgers players don't want Trevor Bauer back with his sexual assault allegations. As I said, Padres trade for Adam Frazier. Will need bullpen, starting pitching depth. One team that's kind of right on the fence would be the Cincinnati Reds. I would say if I was them, I'd probably sell 6.5 games out of the division.
Don't tell their fans that.
5.5 games out of the wild card. I can't imagine a scenario where they catch the Brewers. However, the Reds' schedule is pretty light. In August and September, I can't imagine they catch the Padres. But if the Reds do buy, they need bullpen. Bullpen's the one spot where they need to buy if they were to do that. Third base has been terrible, too. Eugenio Suarez has been horrendous this year. Probably hit 10 homers this week against the Cubs, like he always does. But Reds are on the fence. As for sellers, Orioles, Indians, Tigers, Royals, Twins, Angels, Rangers, Nats. The Nats are an interesting one. Do they trade Max Scherzer? He has an injury right now. I think it's getting...
Yeah, it's getting time.
The talk is that they're ready to trade him. So
a lot of good stuff there.
Yes, sir. Cardinals are another team. I don't know if they shouldn't buy, definitely, but they might buy with hopes for next year.
Yeah.
Guys under contract as well next year. Because the likelihood they come back and make playoffs is very, very slim. Their playoff odds are currently at 4.5%.
Yeah.
So it's probably not going to happen, but they don't have a whole lot. They can sell. Nolan Arenado has an opt-out after this year, so if you think he's going to opt out, which I can't imagine he does.
No, he seems to really like it there.
Yeah, then they trade him if they think he's going to. But other than that, they don't really have a whole lot. They're not trading Yadier Molina or Adam Wainwright for sure. But if they do, they need pitching. Their bullpen's awful. It seems like I say that for a bunch of guys.
Yeah, I've heard that. It sounds like a broken record tonight.
So that's all I got.
Well, let's stick with baseball real quick. There was big news this week that came out, or over the past week that came out, that the Cleveland Indians, they've been named the Indians for 100 years, over 100 years maybe. They're changing their name next year to the Cleveland Guardians. First, I want your opinion on the name, and then what you think about just the name change itself.
So I don't have a strong opinion on the name change. I think Cleveland Indians, especially the logo, is fairly offensive to Native Americans.
They took that away 2 years ago.
Yes, but
Chief Oahu.
But the name Indian probably is offensive. It's probably not as bad as Redskins, because Redskins
I don't think it's even on the same level.
It's not on the same level, but they probably needed to change it. It's a lose-lose situation. Either side's going to be mad, regardless. As for the name, the Guardians, it is the boringest name. It will be the boringest name in baseball. I'll give my dad credit for this one. He texted me. He's like, it sounds like an Arena Football League team name.
Logo looks terrible.
Seems like when you're playing Madden or something in franchise and you want to move a team or start a team, that's one of the first ones that pops up as a team name that you could potentially choose, the Guardians.
Yep.
It's so generic. Their logo's boring. They had so many great opportunities to choose a really cool, unique name like the Cleveland Spiders. I thought would have been really cool, or even the Cleveland Rocks with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame there. And they chose the Guardian. But as I said, either side's going to be mad about it. I do find it funny though that the people that complain about this world being too soft and the world getting offended by everything are the same ones that are boycotting sports because of kneeling during the national anthem or name changes and all of that. They're just boycotting sports completely. Pick a lane, people. Pick a lane. That's all I got to say on it.
Yeah, I just haven't, maybe I'm not reading the right articles. I hadn't read that any Native American groups were really offended by this like they were the Redskins.
And that could be the case, but
I grew up playing Cowboys and Indians.
Yeah. It's a different day.
Is Cowboys offensive?
The Dallas ones are.
I mean, and where does it stop? I mean, here's the thing. So the Braves and the Chiefs, are they next?
I don't think. I mean, Indians it's almost a slang term, if you think about it. Where the Braves, Chiefs, I don't think that's an offensive name. Now they need to get rid of the tomahawk chop if they're going to do anything, because that is fairly offensive. I'm not a Native American. Tanner's not a Native American, so we don't really know how they actually feel, but it doesn't seem like any Native Americans actually come out and say this needs to happen.
Right.
They're getting ahead of it because that's the way the world's going to more.
That's a good point.
A politically correct, and they'd rather do it now than wait for a huge public outcry where it feels like you're pushed up against the wall and you make the choice based on that. Where now they look like they're proactive in their change.
I just don't know where it stops.
I don't either.
In college teams too.
Yeah, a lot of them are named after Native American whatever. I mean, we have the Seminoles, we have the Illini, we have all sorts. I mean, they've already gotten rid of mascots. Chief Illiniwek was one, which I saw Chief Illiniwek perform, and it was highly offensive. If I was a Native American, I could see how people would be upset at that. I could see how people could be upset about that with the Seminoles, too, with him coming onto the field on a horse and doing the whole spike thing into the ground. But
I mean, for so long, nobody said nothing.
It's true. I just think people are more educated and aware now than they were back in the day.
Have to rewrite all the history books that talk about Indian tribes.
Yeah.
Because, I'll stop with my other thoughts. But as far as the Guardians, got a message here from Tanya Shriver, a good viewer of the show every week. Says at the end of the 2021 Major League season, the Cleveland Indians will become the Cleveland Guardians. The name Guardians refers to the stone sculptures which for nearly 100 years have stood as traffic guardians at both ends of the Hope Memorial Bridge, which is located in the shadow of Progressive Field. Interesting.
Did not know that. That makes sense that they would do that.
I didn't know that either. So thank you.
I know some Cleveland fans that are pretty happy about them changing to the Guardians. They like the Guardian. They must know that history more than we do.
Interesting. I didn't know that, but I
didn't either.
don't like the logo, though, with the wings and everything.
Our good friend Andrew Eiler said it looks a lot like the Los Angeles Angels, which it kind of does.
Yeah.
I just think maybe it's just me being kind of I don't know. I just think they could have made it a lot cooler.
Thad Mooney commented that Kansas City announced they're taking their horse riding onto the field out. So the Kansas City Chiefs are not going to have their horse. Broncos better not take that out because it's in their name.
Broncos. Well, that's not a Native American thing.
Right, but Pete will come out and say, you can't have horses around the field. Where does it end, man? Dolphins are racist against animals. I'm going to stop. I'm going to get myself in trouble.
Dolphins are mean, man.
They can't be.
They torture animals for fun. Like they torture sharks.
Well, sharks are awful.
Isn't it crazy that the one most menacing fish anywhere, it loves shallow water.
Yeah.
I watch Shark Week a lot.
It's repetitive every year.
I know. I always find myself. Sharks are fascinating.
They are fascinating, but they're scary.
Yeah. You ever seen one?
No.
I haven't either.
No, zoos.
Not in person.
At zoos.
Yeah, at aquariums.
Not
zoos.
Not like actually in the wild.
No, me either.
But that's all I got for baseball. Like we got plenty of other topics.
Yeah, I don't have anything else baseball wise. It's gonna be a fun week. Trade deadline week's always fun. Seeing the wheeling and dealing. It's always the most interesting week of the regular season and fun week of the regular season baseball. And this is they can no longer have waiver wire trades after August 1st like they have in years past. So once July 30th is up, you can make no more trades. So that could be that could make it more of a frenzy. And executives say that they're expecting a pretty strong frenzy this year. So it'll be fun.
Let the frenzy begin.
Let the shark feeding frenzy begin. You want to be educated?
Absolutely.
I don't know why my voice
need to learn some stuff.
Let's see here. 1933, Joe DiMaggio ends his 61-game hitting streak in the Pacific Coast League. So he had a AAA hitting streak of 61 games and a Major League Baseball hitting streak of 56.
I didn't know that he had that in AAA.
I didn't either. That's insane. 1948, the Babe Ruth story premieres. It's Babe Ruth's last public appearance. I did not know.
You mean it was like a play?
I don't know. It does not say. I don't know if it was a movie or a play. 1950, Dodgers' Jim Russell is the first player ever to switch hits homers twice in a game. So I don't know if he did it from both sides of the plate. Doesn't specify.
Jim Russell, you said?
His name's Jim Russell from the Dodgers in 1950.
Never heard of him.
1952, Mickey Mantle had his first career grand slammer, is what they called it.
He was pretty good.
Yeah, not too shabby. Who won the PGA Championship in 1955 on this day?
55. Let's go Ben Hogan.
Doug Ford.
Never heard of him.
Never heard of him. Never heard of either of these guys. Doug Ford and Kerry Middlecoff.
Nope.
1978, Johnny Bench hit his 300th career homer.
Another good one.
1984, Pete Rose tied Ty Cobb with his 3,502nd single. He was a singles hitter to the max, I'd say.
He was just a good hitter.
Yeah. 1988, Michael Jack Schmidt? I don't know. Something.
I was trying to say Michael Jackson for a second.
Mike Schmidt sets NL record appearing 2,155th game at third base.
One of the greatest of all time at third base.
As Phillies and New York Mets in that game at 2:13 in the morning.
Yeah, I doubt many fans stayed up for that one.
No, I would have.
No, you wouldn't have. Maybe. It depends.
1992, Nolan Ryan struck out his 100th batter for the 23rd consecutive season.
We bring him up all the time on this show. Just unbelievable,
Pretty
all
good.
the stats he had in his career.
That's all I got.
All you got?
It was a rough week this year. week. This year, too. It's been a rough week this year.
Rough week this day, or a rough day this week.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I have another one. 1991 Expos Mark Gardner no-hit the Dodgers for 9 innings, but lost it in the 10th. Lost the game in the 10th.
That's a rough way to go out.
1984. I'm going backwards now. 1984 Bowie Kuhn announces pitcher Vida Blue is suspended for the rest of 1984 due to his cocaine conviction.
Bowie Blue.
Yeah.
It's fitting for the name.
Yeah, it really is.
That's all I got.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, the On This Day segment is brought to you by Like It Is Every Week, Proforma Print House. If you're looking for a trustworthy, dependable resource for your next trade show, company picnic, or sales meeting, Proforma Print House has over 50 years combined experience in promotional products and commercial print. They strive for fast and efficient response to all your print needs. You need to look no further. Let them be your one-source print and promotional company today by giving them a call at 574-210-3815.
This will be the J-Man's Booker prediction of the week.
Ooh, book it early tonight.
Yeah, going back to baseball. I think at least 5 Cubs will be traded between now and Friday.
I was trying to set you up for that earlier.
Yeah, I screwed up. I
with
forgot
the
about it.
prediction for the Cubs.
I was so focused.
In the zone.
I was in the zone. But J-Man's Book Prediction of the Week is brought to you by Indiana Farm Bureau insurance agent Travis Watring. For life, home, auto, renters, business, workers' comp, and farm insurance, contact Travis at 219-869-4561. His email is travis.watring@infb.com. Chris Bryant, over his last 40 games, is hitting 183 with a 277 on-base percentage and a 344 slugging. Not great, Bob.
Nope. Not great at all.
Not great at all.
Not great at all.
I think he'll be dealt.
Conference realignments.
Yes, sir.
We've saw conferences realign a couple of years ago. We've seen teams jump around conferences expand. Thought we were done for a while. Knew we probably weren't done for good. But this latest news this past week's pretty shocking.
Yeah.
Texas and Oklahoma officially told the Big 12 today they are not going to renew their rights when they expire come 2025. So they are looking to get out of the Big 12, supposedly looking at moving to the Southeastern Conference, the SEC.
It kind of came out of nowhere. We weren't expecting news like that. Then, bam, we got it.
Supposedly they've been in talks behind the scenes since December, and that was
Really?
kept under wraps. That's what Barstool Sports was reporting this week.
The SEC is taking over college football.
Oh, they've done that for years.
Done it for years. There have also been talk they're going to try to get Clemson and Ohio State.
Which Clemson did come out and said they're 100% happy to be in the
Good.
ACC. I can't imagine Ohio State and Michigan leaving the Big Ten.
No, they've been there forever. But Texas had, the Big 12's changed.
Ohio State makes the playoffs almost every year from the Big Ten. Why would you want to leave?
Exactly.
Go to the SEC where you might lose a couple more games.
You have all these teams in the SEC. You're not going to get as many teams in. You still might get 2, but it's so much more difficult to get there.
Well, the playoff will be expanding.
That's a good point. But
still.
There'll still only be a few at-large teams.
And in Texas and Oklahoma, they're giving up a good chance to get that bye. They win the Big 12 with playoff expanding, you get a bye.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to give that up because Texas didn't win the SEC. Oklahoma probably isn't, but Oklahoma has a better chance than Texas. Oklahoma has ran the Big 12 for the last decade. Mm-hmm. Texas thinks they're just like Michigan. They think they're the power that they used to be, and they're not even close, just because they have their own stupid network, which has caused this whole thing to begin back when they ticked off Nebraska and Nebraska jumped. Started it all.
It's all about money.
The Longhorn Network.
All about money. The NCAA says we're not going to make anything about money anymore, and then Texas proves we're going to make it all about money. Oklahoma says we're going to make it all about money, having them in the SEC. If that ends up happening, which it sounds like it's going to in 4 years, you say?
Yeah, it'll be 2025.
The seismic shift, it will move so many other teams to different conferences. I think you'll see the SEC maybe pushing a team like Missouri out.
I think they'll keep all their teams, and then you split into 4 divisions.
They could do that, but at the same time, it seems like they're getting to the point where they want to kick some teams out that have been perennially bad. Like Missouri hasn't been good in a couple years in football. Vanderbilt's never been good.
Yeah, but I was going to say, Mississippi State's arguably never been that good.
That's a good point. Ole Miss really hasn't either.
They're
They've
not
had
going
some
to kick
good
them
years.
out.
No. It's just
Kentucky's getting better.
the Big 12 is going to die. It'll be dead. You're going to have teams, maybe they form another Big 8.
I don't know. That's what I feel bad. I feel bad for like the team I feel bad for in the Big 12, Oklahoma State. They're arguably the best overall. They're definitely of the teams that would be left, the 8. They're the best overall in all sports by far.
Think so?
Yeah. Great at golf, great at softball, good at baseball. Pretty good every year at football. Once in a while they have a great team. Same thing with basketball.
Yeah.
Kansas, great at basketball, trash at football. I don't care about the other sports. They're so bad at football.
Oklahoma's pretty dang good at about everything.
I said the schools you're left.
Oh, who are left? I got you.
Oklahoma, Texas
Gotcha.
leaves the rest. Now Baylor is your defending national champions in basketball. They've been good.
That was
at
a
football.
once in a lifetime.
They've been good at football, but I would take
team.
Oklahoma State sports over Baylor. Oklahoma State's the one that's Big Brother just left.
Yeah,
we're stuck.
And now Texas A&M's whining because Big Brother might be coming back to them.
Yeah, Texas A&M, Big Brother moved out of the house. They've been the only kid getting all the attention. They're loving it. Big Brother's not happy where they went in the city. They're moving back home after 10 years.
Yep. I think we'll see. I mean, the Big Ten's already talked about maybe adding Kansas, Iowa State.
I don't want Iowa State.
Iowa State makes sense geographically. I mean, they'd be a better ad than Maryland and Rutgers both were.
Those made sense for TV.
Sure.
But
I mean, if you're adding teams, Iowa State makes sense
right
geographically.
Now, I know when Matt Campbell leaves, eventually that program's
they're going to get bad.
Their
again.
basketball's not good.
I think their basketball won 2 games this year.
Yeah, they used to be good. But I get it for the Iowa, but sure. Kansas, I definitely understand for basketball. But they all act like this is just football.
Yeah, it only matters for football.
That's the revenue.
Oklahoma and Texas only care about football. It's pretty evident. Although both teams have been pretty good at basketball lately, they still only care about football.
Ray Davis says, "Get rid of conferences and have everybody go independent."
I think that's the way it sure feels like it's trending, doesn't it? Within 10 to 15 years,
I think we're going to have 4 super conferences.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Big Ten adds 2 more and you have 16. They split up into 4. You can either go 8 and 8 or just 4 different divisions of 4 geographically. I think the Pac-12 adds on 4 more, gets 16. SEC adds a few more. I think Notre Dame's the one everybody's looking at. Okay, are you going to finally make the move to the conference? If so,
I think they have to.
Are you going to make the easy move into the ACC since you're kind of already a member there? Or are you going to make your fans and geographic sense and move to the Big Ten, which you should have done a long time ago?
Yeah, they're the team everyone's going to watch.
Because they would get more money in the Big Ten right now from Big Ten Network than they do from NBC.
By far. Jim Delaney, we ripped him quite a bit for adding a Maryland and Rutgers, but the TV deals he's made, schools are just flush with cash.
Yep.
They have so much cash. Notre Dame wouldn't they be by far the smallest school in the Big Ten?
Yes.
By a pretty wide margin.
Right there with Northwestern.
Yeah, Northwestern's probably pretty small
enrollment,
too.
Yeah.
Enrollment-wise. They're probably about the same,
But,
actually.
their fans would love it. They would play Purdue, Indiana, Michigan State, Wisconsin, Ohio State, all
every
right
year
there.
pretty much.
Northwestern, Illinois. You wouldn't have to barely drive.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying from like a driving standpoint.
Yeah. Could you imagine how packed?
Oh, they'll pack everywhere they go.
Road Stadium is.
But it also, but I think if they go somewhere, they'll go ACC.
It would make complete. Yeah, I think probably just because it'd be a lot easier. They were in the ACC this year for football.
Yes, and they did
past
well.
Year. Yeah,
they did really well.
They went to the conference championship game.
Yep,
didn't they?
Yep.
Got waxed by Clemson.
They made the playoff.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
It got waxed by Alabama. Yeah.
And then Clemson got waxed by Ohio State. And then Alabama waxed.
Alabama waxed. A bunch of waxing.
That's not going to change.
Nope. I don't even really enjoy college football anymore.
I do just for like the game day experience.
Sure.
But it is tough with these conference realignments. It's maddening. It's not what college sports used to be.
If you're not Ohio State, it feels like you have no shot.
Ohio State's won the last 5 Big Ten championships.
Exactly.
But
it just feels like you have no shot.
You're right.
It sucks, and that's why it'd almost be great if they left.
Yeah.
For other schools.
That'd be stupid to leave, though.
They'd be really stupid. Yeah, for exactly that reason. Same with Clemson. Clemson's been running that conference because no one else in there is really worth anything.
But
Florida State, Miami, every once in a while.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because a lot of these future schedules are dissolved now. They'll be dissolved with teams leaving conferences.
Yeah.
Like if Notre Dame was to join a conference, they have to get rid of a lot of those series they already put on their books.
Wonder that'll do money-wise if they're going to have to pay to get out of those.
I don't know how that works with that. But it is pretty fascinating, but it's also just like, here we go again.
It's going to be a pretty big domino effect. This, I think, will be the most wide-scale conference realignment that we've ever seen.
It's not out of the realm that the Big Ten doesn't grab some Pac-12 schools.
Sure.
Geographic locations don't really matter anymore.
No, I mean, that would really suck for them having to the West Coast teams having to come out to the Eastern Conference time zone. Or
you could
Central
almost make sure they're in the West, so the most east they come is like Midwest, and they don't go. But it's still Eastern Central time, but they don't have to go clear to like Penn State or Rutgers or Maryland or anything like that, clear across the country. But
I mean, that screws up basketball if you're wanting to play everyone every year.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You almost wouldn't be able to.
You know, there was talks. One guy was saying, one of Purdue's lead writer on Gold and Black thinks the Big Ten should go after Carolina.
That'd be an interesting one.
But do they leave without Duke?
That's the thing.
But this would be the time to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Roy Williams retired and Coach K's done after a year. Will that rivalry be the same? Duke Carolina.
Doesn't seem like it's been the same the past couple of years anyway, for whatever reason.
And Carolina's pretty good at football right now, so that would. Yes. And they have a huge brand.
I did hear North Carolina was like a team that would fit the Big Ten mold as far as academics and athletics.
Well, you know, Jim Delaney, originally, before he got Rutgers and Maryland, he was looking at Georgia Tech, North Carolina, I want to say Virginia. There was a 3-team haul from the ACC he was looking at.
Virginia wouldn't be too bad.
Well, this was Virginia Tech. I don't know, but I know North Carolina and Georgia Tech were 2 he was looking at, and he couldn't get them.
I think Virginia would fit pretty well.
I'm kind of all on board A&M coming to the Big Ten, but I don't think it'll happen. But
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
I mean, they would challenge Ohio State right away.
I just think it's funny their fan base is whining. It's like you have a top 5 paid coach now that won a national championship at Florida State.
They arguably should have got in the playoff over Notre Dame last year anyway.
You're a good team. Why are you still kind of scared of Texas? You're a whole different program than when you were in 2011 when you moved to the SEC.
Yeah, whole different.
I kind of find that funny, but we'll see what happens. It's a topic we're going to probably be talking about
quite a bit
on the podcast, particularly because we talk about the Big Ten's one of our niche topics that we talk about. But man, yeah, it's got to be interesting. If, for instance, if Kansas joins the Big Ten, football they do nothing well for basketball. Makes basketball head and shoulders the best conference in the nation.
They might actually win a championship.
Maybe.
Yeah. One word association quick?
Yeah.
It's a baseball one this week. All trades that have happened, mid-season baseball trades.
So I got to say my first word
about the first thing that
trade.
Comes. Yes.
Oh, my.
White Sox acquire Eloy Jimenez, Dylan Cease, and 2 prospects from the Cubs for Jose Quintana.
Didn't know it happened. Oh, yeah, Quintana. Yeah. J-Man calling it a great move back on the
I don't think that happened. I think I remember at the time thinking, man, that's pretty steep. Hope it works out. And then he pitched unbelievable his first game. I'm like, all right, here we go. But
I do have the soundbite on my computer, but I'm not going to pull it right now because I don't want to take time to do it.
Cubs acquire Aroldis Chapman from the Yankees for Gleyber Torres and other prospects.
Worked out for both sides.
Both sides, yep. Won a World Series, can't complain about it.
Nope, Torres has been good for the Yankees.
Indians acquire Corey Kluber from the Padres for Jake Westbrook.
Who's Jake Westbrook?
Exactly.
Okay.
Cardinals trade for Matt Holliday from Oakland.
Yeah, it just fit. I mean, Holliday.
Yeah, he was good there.
He was really good Cardinal. I mean, he was good in Colorado. He was even good in Oakland. But, yeah, Cardinals is where I always associate him with.
Yeah, which is weird because it seems like he was in Colorado a lot longer than he was.
He did have the slide against the Padres. Yeah.
Blue Jays trade Scott Rowland to the Reds for Edwin Encarnacion.
Forgot Rowland was a Blue Jay.
I did
remember
too.
it was a Philly and a Cardinal. Yep. And a Red, but it was really Philly and Cardinals what I remember.
That kind of worked out for both teams. Rowland was pretty good for a year
or so.
For? Edwin Encarnacion.
Oh, yeah.
Encarnacion ended up being
It's kind of like Nelson Cruz.
Yeah, he really was. He's out of the league now. He played last year, I believe.
Just consistent for years.
Yeah, 40 home runs. You knew you'd get it. Number 6, Brewers acquire CC Sabathia from the Indians for 4 prospects in 2008.
I remember when that happened, yeah. CC was good everywhere he went. Loved his Captain Crunch. Mm-hmm. That wasn't part of his name, CC.
Was unbelievable in that half season with the Brewers.
Down in the playoffs.
Yep. Diamondbacks acquired Kurt Schilling from the Phillies.
I mean, got him a title.
Yep.
Later on. Him and Randy Johnson, man. That was a nasty duo.
Cardinals acquire Mark McGwire from the Athletics.
Worked out pretty well for them.
Well.
I mean, they didn't win much.
No, they
But-
didn't even make the playoffs the
but-
year he hit 70.
And the Cubs didn't win much with Sosa then, but it was must-see TV between those two.
Mariners trade Randy Johnson to the Astros for 3 players.
It's, Randy being on the Astros, what is that, half a season?
Yeah.
So
He
you
went to
forget about
Diamondbacks.
it. Yeah, I mean, he was nasty with the Mariners. And talk about the Mariners. They had him, A-Rod, and Griffey.
Jay Buhner.
Jay Buhner, Edgar Martinez.
Yeah, man, that team should have won. Ichiro? No, they didn't.
Nah, he wasn't there
It was
yet.
2001.
He got there to the team that everybody
yeah,
thought was trash, and it was
116
their
wins.
last team that
Yep.
made the playoffs.
Cubs acquire Kyle Hendricks from the Rangers for Ryan Dempster.
Didn't know he got traded.
Yeah, he was the throw-in. Ryan Dempster was traded to the Braves, but he had 10-5 rights, which means if you're in the league for 10 years and you were on the same team for 5 years, you have no trade clause built in. So he was originally traded to the Braves for Randall Delgado, and he said he didn't want to play in Atlanta, so they were scrambling at the deadline. Traded him to the Rangers for Christian Villanueva, who was the top prospect they got in the deal, and then Kyle Hendricks was the throw-in. Kyle Hendricks has been the 6th best pitcher in the Major League since 2014, so that worked out pretty well for him.
Absolutely.
Dodgers trade Mike Piazza to the Marlins, who then trade him to the Mets 8 days later.
Yeah, I knew he wasn't on there very, very long, but I don't even associate Piazza with the Dodgers, even though he's pretty solid. He's just a Met for me right away. But
yeah, this trade was interesting. Cubs were very interested in Mike Piazza.
That would have been weird.
They wouldn't give up, I think, Felix Heredia or something for him.
Yeah, Piazza's one of the, when I think of great catchers, he's one of the first guys that comes to my mind.
The first thing that pops into my mind is Clemens throwing the broken bat back at him.
Yep. Subway Series.
Yep. Tigers trade John Smoltz to the Braves for Doyle Alexander.
Didn't know Smoltz was a Tiger.
Yeah, he was drafted by the Tigers. I don't know if he pitched at all in the major leagues with them, but he was at least a minor leaguer when they traded him to the Braves.
Mannix, Glavine,
Steve Avery,
Millwood at one time.
Kevin Millwood. Yep.
Jeez.
John Rocker.
Mike Hampton.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Red Sox traded Jeff Bagwell to the Astros for Larry Anderson.
Again, didn't know Bagwell was a Red Sox. Learned a lot today.
This is a fun one for me to say. Padres trade James Shields to the White Sox for 17-year-old prospect Fernando Tatis Jr.
Oops.
Yeah, Shields put up a 5.31 ERA in 76 starts for the White Sox. That didn't work out well, and all you hear White Sox razzing the Cubs about trading Eloy Jimenez, and they don't even think about that one. That was far worse.
That was bad. That was
far
bad.
worse. So that's going to do it for on this day.
I learned a lot there. You mean word association? But I learned a lot. So you thought it was on this day, so I learned a lot.
Cubs beat writer Jesse Rogers tells Waddle and Sylvie that things are really starting to heat up, and he thinks Craig Kimbrell goes sooner rather than later, could be within the next 2 days.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
The word associated segment is brought to you by Rhett Lee, attorney at law. Rhett Lee and the law office of Andrew Aki are located at 206 4th Street, Logansport, Indiana. Rhett provides legal services to the people of North Central Indiana and practices criminal defense, family law, and personal injury. If you need a lawyer who cares about your results and will fight for you, call him today to schedule a free consultation at 574-722-2221.
This episode is brought to you by The Dam Landing. Whether you want an epic burger, hand-tossed pizza, hand-breaded tenderloin, seafood, craft beer, or handcrafted cocktail, Dam Landing is the place to be. The Dam Landing is a bar and grill located on beautiful Lake Manitou, focused on freshness and quality. In addition, you can wash it down with one of their 16 beers on tap, including a constant rotation of today's best microbrews and domestic flavors, or a handcrafted cocktail made using fresh ingredients. Take in the fantastic views of Lake Manitou in their beer garden or outdoor bar area. Whether it be boats or wheels, the Dam Landing is the place to be, located at 1305 Ewing Road in Rochester.
What's the cocktail out there you recommend to everybody? What's the one your girlfriend likes to get all the time?
Well, the rum punch is really good.
That's not the one I was thinking
I know.
of.
Tropical Situation.
There you go.
Delicious.
There you go.
Makes it feel like you're on a beach.
Heard it from the J-Man himself.
Mm-hmm.
And this episode of the Tan and J-Man Show is also brought to you by Circle 15 Golf. Circle 15 Golf is a brand focused on bringing tour quality products and experience to the everyday golfer like myself and the J-Man. It's built on 25 years of tour experience, featuring the Genesis glove, the most durable and comfortable glove available, and the patented Glove Hub, the first and only glove humidor on the market. Find those products along with hats, not this one though, it's sold out, I'm sorry, different repair tools, ball markers, and more at circle15golf.com. Circle 15 Golf founder Chris Smith was up playing in my Thursday night golf league this week. He subbed alongside his good buddy Austin Shepard. Fired a soft 6 under par 30 on the front nine, and supposedly missed 2 7-foot looks at birdie. Could have shot 28.
Man.
That's playing some good golf. He must have just been dialed in. He usually shoots 33 or 34, which is 2 to 3 under par, still a really, really good score. But 6 under on the harder side of Mill Creek, that's playing some good golf. That's a lot of. I know he eagled both par 5s.
That's gonna be pretty fun.
Yeah, he eagled both par 5s, so he was in the zone, and it's probably because of that Genesis glove in the glove hub. And it's been helping me hit the ball great lately. Unfortunately, I don't wear my glove when I putt. Maybe that's what I should try doing.
Maybe that's your problem. Yeah,
that putter about went over my knee yesterday. It did come out of my hand once. I'm ashamed to say. I was just throwing it closer to my bag.
Sure.
Cutting my walk off.
Of course.
Except my bag was actually on the opposite side of the green. So, real quick, Milwaukee Bucks,
yes, sir.
NBA champs, giving all the small market teams some hope, but they do have arguably the best player in the NBA on their team.
Yeah, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's won a couple MVP awards now.
Two. Yes, 5-star All-Star selection.
Yes, a couple-time defensive
player of the year. I think just once.
He's been on the all defensive team
and all NBA multiple times.
He did it well. He didn't have to surround himself with a ton of talent. Chris Middleton turned in from a second-round pick, I believe he was.
Yeah, was traded from the Pistons when he's on the Mad Ants to the Bucks. Yeah, he part of the Brennan Jennings trade.
He was a G League guy. Forgot about that.
The Brennan Jennings trade.
It was a fun team to watch build. I mean, you saw this whole really past 8 years, it was the Sixers trust the process. And then the Bucks beat them and win the NBA championship against the Phoenix Suns. The teams that surrounded themselves with superstars and made these super teams, like the Brooklyn Nets, couldn't get it done. The Lakers couldn't get it done this year. It was nice to see like a homegrown built NBA team win a championship because that hadn't happened in a while, really since Golden State, I guess. The Raptors were kind of that way.
Spurs were pretty homegrown built,
Spurs were definitely.
They got dominant there for a while.
The Warriors were with Klay Thompson and Steph Curry
yes.
and Draymond and those guys.
Yes.
Raptors had to trade for Kawhi Leonard. But it was fun to watch.
Yeah,
Not that I watched any of it.
Yeah, it was. What a choke job by the Suns. They're up 2-0. I thought they were going to win the series. And Drew Holiday, man, he took Chris Paul out of that series after 2 games. And, I mean, Devin Booker's a stud. He's got to be a stud. I think Phoenix will be good again next year, but the road to get back there is not going to be easy.
No.
Not going to be easy at all.
Nope.
You're going to have there's a lot of good teams in the West.
Especially you're already hearing, like, the Lakers going to make a play for Westbrook or Chris Paul.
Or Dame Lillard.
Or Damian Lillard, who sounds like he wants out.
Yeah. I mean, you got another team out there like the Nuggets. I mean, they made a run to the semifinals, but they were without Jamal Murray, who got hurt right before the playoffs.
Yeah.
Put him on the Nuggets. They have a better chance to get further than they did. There's going to be a lot of good teams. But as far as, like, Pacer fan goes, this gives you some hope, but they got to go get a superstar. And there's been a lot of trade talks or rumors with the Pacers and the Warriors involving Miles Turner.
Interesting. Wonder who they could end up.
Get him away.
Wonder who they could end up with.
I don't know. I'd even just take some good picks.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know. NBA draft's coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like.
Is it this week?
Is it this week?
I don't know.
Looks like the Pistons are probably going to take Cade Cunningham number 1 overall.
Yeah.
The Pistons can't screw this one up like they screwed up the number 2 pick back in 2003 when they took Darko Milicic behind LeBron James when they could have had Dwayne Wade or Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh or Dwayne Wade. That went 3, 4, 5.
Why is it not telling me when the 2021 NBA draft is? July 29th. It's
so
Thursday.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I am not interested in it at all. I know you probably are interested
I'll
where
see where Io goes. It's been talk that he could go late first, maybe early second, could go as high as late lottery even. He's a guy that played so much college basketball that they can just pick apart his film.
It looks like Wagner's probably in most mocks going in front of him, which is just I don't know, man.
He's a 6'9" guy that can play the 2 through the 4. I mean,
I wouldn't say he was as good as his brother, though.
No, he's a better draft prospect than Io is. But Io's so safe because he has a 6'10" wingspan. Right. He's pretty athletic. He's a better shooter than he has been in the past. I think teams just look for that younger, like, guy that
Luka Doncic.
Like they can project where Io will be a solid, like, 6th, 7th man for years.
Yeah.
Some teams don't like to take a chance on that. Give me that, Birdie Bogey. We have about 2 minutes left.
Yes. Let me get my phone.
I have one that if he's not it, I'll throw my pen.
I don't think you're going to throw anything, but Shohei Ohtani, his 35th home run yesterday, becoming the fourth player born outside the United States to hit 35 homers before the end of July in MLB history. Name 2 of these 3, you get par. Name all 3, you get a birdie.
Sammy Sosa.
He did it 4 times.
Albert Pujols?
No.
Man, I'm drawing an absolute blank. Those are the only 2 I could think of born outside the U.S. Oh, man. This is embarrassing. Outside. Nelson Cruz, was he one of them? Gosh dang, give it to me.
David Ortiz, Big Papi.
Big Papi.
And Vinny Castilla.
Would not have even thought about Vinny Castilla. I probably should have got Big Papi.
Yeah, I thought you had that one. I thought that's who else was.
Didn't even think about him. I'll take a bird. I'll take a bogey.
We're tied up.
We are
3 over par. We are struggling, man.
We're bad.
We need to go in the opposite way. But wrap us up real quick, J-Man, and sell some merch.
Thanks for watching the Tan J-Man Show. Go buy some merch on tanjmanshow.com. Store.com. Every
Give you
week.
one job.
We'll see you next Monday on the Tan and J-Man Show.